What's up, tribe? My name is Ariella Trees. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be making a wig, okay? I want it to be something bright, something bold. I want it to be, I was thinking of colors of red, orange, and yellow. So it's going to be something like that. Not necessarily a ombre, but something, you know, highlight situation, something like that. So Brad Monzo, honey, give me a good review, okay? So let's get started. Let's get it. Let's go. So these are all my supplies that I'm going to be starting out with. I will list the information of all my supplies and where I got them from below. So I just placed my wig cap onto my mannequin stand, and this is my closure. It is a 4x6 lace closure. I really like the 4x6. I prefer using them over the 4x4 closure because it's a little bit longer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place my closure onto the wig cap where I would like it. We want to make sure that your closure is really flat, so when you go to cut the middle piece out of the wig, that is still going to lay very flat on your head. I feel like the closure is the most important part of the whole wig because it's going to be like at the top of your head. So I'm going to just pin it down in the front, make sure it's really flat. Then I'm going to just gather the hair at the back, and I'm going to pin that down as well. Please make sure that your sides do not bubble a little bit. I will put tacks, some extra tacks in it just to make sure that it does not bubble when I go to sew it onto my wig cap. And once I get it pinned down where I like it, I'm just going to braid it down. Just make sure I gather all my hair and keep it out of the way for when I go to sew on the closure onto my wig cap, because you don't want those flyaways, you know, getting caught in the needle and thread, because it'll make it tangle up really bad. Some people do use foam to put it when you're adding your closure to your wig cap, but it's not necessary at this part. I only use it when I'm doing the part in the middle of my head. So here's my little braid that I'm gonna use. Just gonna hold it at the end with a little rubber band. Excuse me. And I'm just gonna go up the sides. I go up the left side and then up the right side, and then I go up the back. I feel like that technique keeps it from bubbling in the center and getting like the little lift parts, or sometimes you're trying to make sure it's that secure, you know, that it'll bubble up on the opposite side. And as you can see, I put a tack in the center just to make sure that bubbling doesn't happen. And then I'm going up the opposite side of the closure. This is the hair that I'm going to use. It is a 16 and an 18 Remy. I believe it was like maybe a 27, something like that. A little soft brown color. I do want it a little bit lighter on the ends because I want it to be like really red, a really bold red. And then I want it to transition into like a softer into like a golden. The actual color that I'm gonna be using is a ginger by Adore, but it's gonna be like a soft gold color. So I'm just gonna apply my bleach onto my two bundles that I have right here. I do advise that you open up your bundles a little bit more if you want, you know, a more complete coverage, because you do want to get every strand. But me, for this one in particular, I don't mind a little something. I don't want to call it a highlight low light type situation, but you know, I don't mind a little bit of the highlight low light. If it doesn't get completely on every strand, that'll be perfectly fine with me. So I'm not even going to put any bleach at the top of the wefts because I want them to be really dark. I'm gonna put the Adore Intense Red on the top, and then the Wild Cherry on the middle, and then a ginger on the very end of the hair. And so I'm just brushing it through a little bit more. Brushing it and brushing it. And then I did go in a little bit more because I didn't open up the bundles, and make sure I kind of got I opened it up a little bit more because I saw it wasn't all the bleach wasn't in the inside of it. And this is about 30 minutes after I put the bleach on it. This is a judgment-free zone. Don't judge it how it looks like this. Judge me by the finished product. And I did want it to lift a little bit faster, not too fast, so I didn't like completely enclose it. But I did use the plastic bags because I didn't want to get the bleach all on my wooden table. So I just used the foil just to give it a little bit of time. And this is afterwards when I rinsed it out. I did notice that one of the bundles was a little bit darker than the other. I believe the 16, this one here, it came out the right color, but the 18 came out a little bit darker than I wanted it to. So I'm just gonna reapply some of the bleach that I had left over. I do not advise that you do this on your own hair. I have seen many people go bald and hair literally just comes out in their hands. Now I'm going to mix some of my color. I did mix a little bit of the ginger into the Wild Cherry by Adore, and these are the two colors. So these two colors, this is going to be for the middle section. For the top section, I'm going to use the Intense Red, and this is another Wild Cherry that I got. I thought I was going to need a little bit more than that than the other two, and I'm just going to mix it in a little container here, as you can see. I'm just checking this one because this one I thought my timing was pretty okay, but this one it took a little bit longer than the 18 to process. So while that was still kind of working itself in, I decided to work on my closure. I'm just gonna start by parting it down the center. Excuse my arm. That was in the way. I'm just gonna part it down the center. Make sure you have it completely down the center. I will use a little bit of foam. This is the foam that I'm going to use just to make sure it's laying down a little bit properly. I find that it helps you get your part straighter. You don't have all those flyaways to choose from, you know, while you're trying to go in and make your part. So I just combed it out a little bit, and I'm just going to tweeze the center of the part just a little bit. Please be sure not to cut your net as well. I did ruin a couple closures because I kind of poked a hole in the net. So here I kind of got it a little bit to where I wanted it. I will go in later on once I put it on my head and redo the part some more. And here I'm gonna actually use the foils the correct way. I did not part it in that small of a section because I still want, you know, a little bit of a highlight low light situation going on without doing the correct technique, I'm guessing. But I am going to put it in a little bit of a foil because this hair was really dark. This hair was closer to maybe an off black or something like that. This one was a lot darker than the two bundles that I had. So I did use foils on the closure just to make sure this one processed enough to pick up the red, because like I said, I really want a really bright, bold red to come out on my wig. So I let this settle for about, once again, I think I did it 30 minutes again. And I'm just going along and checking my process. So what I did was put that middle section, and then I kind of blended it in at the top and at the bottom with the other two colors. So at the very top, I used the Intense Red on the darker hair. This hair was, like I said, like a 27. So I added a little bit of the dark red to the top for the roots. I added the wild cherry and the ginger for the larger section in the middle, and then the very bottom I did just the ginger. I did open up the tracks just a little bit wider this time because I really want to make sure I get that red and that color in to set really well. And here I'm going to bleach the lace that is on the closure. So y'all, please be careful, because one of the wigs that I tried to make, the next one that I tried to make, I did put entirely too much bleach on the net, and I ended up bleaching the very roots of the hair that was on the closure. So I had to go back in and like brush some 1B dye and try to make the correction. And here it is after I put the color. And I did do the same process. I added on the closure, I added some of the intense red at the very top, the ginger and the wild cherry at the bottom, and then the ginger at the very end. And here I'm just blow drying just to make sure I don't have any flyaways, just to make sure I can really see the color that has set, and I'm really liking it. I'm liking it. Here is a little bit of a better angle where you can see some of the color as well. And last but not least, we are going to sew our tracks onto the wig cap. And I just go from left to right, back and forth as I go up the head. I did find that you can sew your tracks pretty close on the wig cap. And also, I did not cut my tracks. I don't cut my tracks when I put it in, regardless of if it's like a sew-in or if it's me making a wig, anything like that, because I do find if you do choose to reuse your hair, it is very hard to do a reinstall when you have cut your tracks into like 100,000 pieces and you gotta puzzle piece back together your sew-in, or your hairstylist has to like puzzle back, you know, go back and like install your hair like that. So it's much easier if you just leave it with two sets of tracks and just install the longest at the bottom and then the longest at the top. So here's the second weft. Here's the second set of tracks, and I start really close to the lace closure, and then I kind of come down the edges of the wig cap, if a wig cap had edges, I'm guessing. And then I come around and just go back from left to right, back and forth, just like I did with the bottom. And I do I always try to use all the hair that I buy to put on my wigs. I want to use all of it. I don't want to have to cut like a little piece or something like that. Now if I'm doing a sew-in or something like that and I do want to glue in like a piece for my leave out or something, that would be the only reason why I would just like cut it like that. But any other reason, I'm not cutting it. And here I'm just doing, you know, a little simple backwards curl on it. I live for a backwards curl. Is so simple, so easy, just 1, 2 and you kind of good. And if your curls fall, it kind of give you like a body wave and you're good. So here is the back. On the inside, that red came out really, really, really pretty. I love it. I love it. I love it. And we're just gonna continue to go around. This is a little bit closer to the top. And I still can see, you know, a little bit, couple pieces at the top where I didn't get the red. That's why it's very important to go in and make sure you go get every little strand, because you can miss some strands. Okay, I didn't mind with the bleach, but the color, you got to make sure that color gets on like every strand of the hair. So here is the finished product. I love it. And here is the last, 1, 2. I hope you guys enjoy my video. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next time.